Welcome back, folks. I'm Frizz, and today I'd like to take some time to talk about initiative. Seeing as initiative is the system that controls what order characters move in combat, it's important for literally every single PC and GM. And while it's not the most overly nuanced system containing infinite mechanical mysteries, there's still some fun stuff to talk about regarding initiative, so let's talk about it. First and foremost, seeing as perception is the default modifier that gets used for initiative, different classes and characters are going to tend to go before others, but there still is a chance for someone who has a lower perception to go first just because they rolled high. 2e keeps numbers within reason for every level, so you aren't going to be running into situations where one person has like a plus 15 initiative modifier when someone else has a minus 1, unlike say in Pathfinder 1st edition. This makes things feel a little bit more fair, and it also makes rolling for initiative actually feel like significant whenever you're rolling the dice, because the outcome doesn't feel guaranteed. This is especially true seeing as you can use skills to roll for initiative so long as your GM is okay with it. The most immediate, obvious example is if you're using the Avoid Notice Exploration action, you can just use stealth for your initiative instead of perception. For a lot of characters, stealth is going to be way higher than perception for them. There isn't an exploration activity for every single skill that lets you use it for initiative, but you can make an argument for most skills being able to be used for initiative, admittedly under pretty specific circumstances. Like, use deception to act like you're not ready to fight when you actually are, use arcana, or religion to recognize that a demon is being summoned so you can react before it gets summoned, or even just use intimidation if you were trying to scare the person you're fighting. You have way more control over what skills you're good at when compared to how good you are at perception. So you aren't always going to be able to use individual specific skills for initiative. Keeping an eye out for the opportunities when you can get to use them is really important, and honestly, it's just a lot of fun. Now, if you've played Pathfinder 1st Edition or D&D 5e and at any point paid attention to general advice online, you're probably used to hearing that initiative is often the most important single roll you make during any combat. Being able to go first lets you get off crucial spells before your enemies or allies can arrange themselves, and potentially being able to remove a threat entirely before they can do anything to mess you up. While initiative is still important in Pathfinder 2e, it's not nearly as crucial as that. Spells just aren't so powerful to completely, to have the ability to even completely shut down characters in 2e. And everyone is going to have enough health that you can't just, attack them on one round and take them all the way down to 0 if they're a significant threat. Basically, combat in Pathfinder 1e and D&D 5e can very easily and very quickly become Rocket Tag, where the first person who goes wins because damage output dramatically eclipses survivability. By comparison, Pathfinder 2e combats are more akin to marathons, where they normally take at least 3 rounds. So while being able to go before your enemies is still really nice, it's only for 1 round, when, again, combats can easily go for 3 to 5 rounds. So initiative just isn't as important, but it still is important. Something that is very important is initiative order, because, it's the order in which you, your friends, and your enemies go in, and that can really change a lot of your strategies. If you know that your friend is going immediately after you, that's going to change what you're doing. For example, if a rogue doesn't have an ally to flank with because they're going first in the party, that is going to change a lot about their turn, since now they have to find a new way to sneak attack. But if an ally is going immediately after them, then they can delay after that ally who's going to run into melee to then be able to get a guaranteed flat-footed for, sneak attack. Basically, being able to plan around your friend's turn is actually really important, and manipulating the initiative order is honestly a really effective strategy. On a related note, there is a bit of danger that can show up due to initiative order. Seeing as people only get back their reactions on their turn, If you go immediately after an enemy who has a strong reaction, like attack of opportunity, then you're going to have to deal with them always having a reaction to use that reaction. So, for example, if you are going to be provoking attacks of opportunity frequently, and you go immediately after someone who has attack of opportunity, they're always going to be able to smack you, which can get pretty dangerous. Of course, then the rest of your party isn't going to have to worry about them having their reaction to use. So there can be upsides, especially if, you plan around you and your allies' plans. Initiative isn't the most complicated thing in the world, but it still does have its nuances. While it is often only really going to matter for the first round of combat, it's still important, and finding ways to increase your odds of going first is, pretty important. After all, while going first in one fight may not be the most vital thing in the world, going first more often over the course of an entire campaign really can make a big difference. Thanks for watching. I've played characters that always seem to go last and some that always seem to go first. Believe it or not, there are pros and cons to both. What do you think about initiative, and what are some fun ways that you've used other skills to roll for it? Let me know in a comment down below, and while you're down there, you can always consider subscribing or joining the channel as a member. My members get videos early, so you actually get additional stuff for supporting me. But regardless, until I see you next, live a wonderful life.